Across the annals of human history, few institutions have cast as long and dark a shadow as slavery. In the United States, the story of slavery is deeply intertwined with the nation's very foundation, leaving behind a tapestry of both progress and enduring wounds. To truly understand the present and shape a more just future, we must first confront the often misunderstood realities of America's past. In this series, we will embark on a journey to illuminate the truth behind 10 common misconceptions surrounding American slavery. From the fields of the antebellum South to the echoes of injustice that resonate in our own time, we will delve into the lives of those who endured this brutal system. Join me now as we venture beyond the simplistic narratives and uncover the multifaceted, often uncomfortable truths at the heart of this pivotal chapter in human history. Only then can we begin to grapple with its lasting consequences and strive for a future where the chains of ignorance and prejudice are broken for good. It is a common misconception that slavery was solely a southern phenomenon, confined to the sprawling plantations of the antebellum South. While it is true that plantation slavery flourished in the South, its tendrils reached far beyond the Mason-Dixon line. In the bustling port cities of the North, slavery played a significant, albeit less visible, role. Merchants and traders in cities like New York and Boston profited immensely from the transatlantic slave trade. Many northern industries, including shipbuilding, textile manufacturing, and insurance, were deeply intertwined with the Southern economy and, by extension, the institution of slavery. The belief that slavery was solely a Southern sin allows for a dangerous simplification of history. It perpetuates the notion of a clear moral divide between North and South, obscuring the complicity of many Northerners in perpetuating this system of exploitation. Understanding the national scope of slavery is not about assigning blame or guilt, but rather about fostering a more nuanced and accurate understanding of the past. It serves as a stark reminder that the legacy of slavery is not confined to a particular region or group of people. By confronting this misconception, we begin to unravel the intricate web of relationships and power dynamics that sustained slavery. The image of the antebellum South is often painted with a broad brush depicting a society uniformly complicit in the institution of slavery. While it is undeniable that a powerful planter class wielded significant influence and defended slavery fiercely, it is crucial to remember that not all Southerners were slave owners. In fact, the majority of white Southerners did not own slaves. Many were small farmers, yeoman farmers, or lived in urban areas, their lives largely untouched by the plantation system. Within this non-slaveholding population, there existed varying degrees of support for an opposition to slavery. Some accepted the institution as a necessary evil, while others harbored deep moral reservations about its inherent cruelty. Furthermore, it is essential to acknowledge the presence of a small but vocal anti-slavery movement within the South itself. Individuals and groups, often risking social ostracism, imprisonment, or even violence, spoke out against the injustice of slavery. To depict the antebellum South as a monolith is to silence the voices of those who dare to dissent. By acknowledging this diversity of experience and opinion, we gain a more nuanced understanding of the South's past. The notion that enslaved Africans passively accepted their fate is a dangerous and dehumanizing myth. The reality, as revealed through historical accounts, personal narratives, and archaeological evidence, paints a very different picture. Resistance to slavery took on many forms, from subtle acts of defiance to organized uprisings. Everyday resistance was woven into the fabric of life under slavery. Enslaved individuals found ways to sabotage work routines, feign illness, or damage tools as a means of disrupting the plantation economy. They held on to their cultural traditions, passing down stories, songs, and spiritual beliefs that provided solace and a sense of identity. Beyond individual acts of resistance, enslaved Africans also engaged in organized rebellions. From the Stono Rebellion in South Carolina to Nat Turner's Rebellion in Virginia, these uprisings demonstrated the depth of desperation and the burning desire for freedom. Furthermore, the Underground Railroad provided a lifeline for those seeking refuge in the North or Canada. To deny the existence of slave resistance is to deny the agency and humanity of millions of individuals. While economic factors played a significant role in American slavery, it was deeply rooted in racist ideologies and pseudoscientific theories. European colonizers constructed racial hierarchies to justify enslavement. These ideologies dehumanized Africans and perpetuated injustice. The American Civil War is often portrayed as a battle over states' rights or economic differences. While these factors played a role, to downplay the centrality of slavery as the primary catalyst for secession is to fundamentally misunderstand this pivotal chapter in American history. The Confederacy's own declarations and pronouncements leave no room for ambiguity on this issue. In the declarations of secession issued by the Southern states, slavery is explicitly cited as the primary grievance against the Union. The Confederate Constitution itself enshrined the protection of slavery as a cornerstone of the newly formed nation. Moreover, the political rhetoric and writings of Confederate leaders clearly articulate their belief in the necessity and righteousness of slavery. They argued that slavery was not only economically beneficial, but also morally justifiable. The Confederate battle flag served as a potent symbol of the Confederacy's commitment to preserving slavery. To suggest that the Civil War was not about slavery is to ignore the overwhelming historical evidence to the contrary. It's an attempt to sanitize a dark chapter in American history. The romanticized image of slavery as paternalistic benevolence stands in stark contrast to its brutal realities. Enslaved Africans faced unimaginable hardship and violence. From the Middle Passage to plantation life, they endured relentless assaults on their bodies and spirits. Treated as chattel, bought and sold like livestock, their lives were defined by hard labor and constant abuse. Suggesting contentment among enslaved Africans insults their memory and the brutal reality they endured. The belief that slavery ended in 1865 with the 13th Amendment, while technically true, belies the enduring legacy of this institution and its profound impact on American society today. The echoes of slavery reverberate through time, manifesting in systemic racism, economic inequality, and the ongoing struggle for racial justice. The passage of time should not diminish the relevance of slavery to our present-day understanding of the world. Systemic racism, white supremacy, and the struggle for racial justice are all linked to the legacy of slavery. Studying slavery offers insights into the resilience of the human spirit and the pursuit of justice. The lessons of slavery transcend geographical boundaries and historical periods. By studying slavery, we equip ourselves to confront injustice in all its forms. The tendency to downplay the horrors of slavery, to sanitize its brutality or minimize its impact, is a dangerous form of historical revisionism. To truly comprehend the depths of this institution's depravity, we must confront the unflinching truth of its violence, its cruelty, and its utter disregard for human dignity. From the cramped and disease-ridden holds of slave ships to the brutal realities of plantation life, slavery was a system built on violence. Whippings, beatings, and other forms of physical torture were commonplace, used to punish, intimidate, and control enslaved populations. The psychological trauma inflicted by the constant threat of violence, the separation of families, and the denial of basic human rights left lasting scars on generations of individuals and families. The sexual exploitation of enslaved women, often overlooked or minimized, was a pervasive and horrific aspect of slavery. Enslaved women were routinely subjected to rape and sexual assault at the hands of their enslavers, with no legal recourse or protection. The children born from these assaults were often categorized as property, further perpetuating the cycle of exploitation and dehumanization. The dehumanization inherent in slavery extended even to death. To sanitize the history of slavery is to deny the full measure of its horror. The narrative of American slavery often focuses primarily on the experiences of African Americans, overlooking the significant impact it had on indigenous peoples. To fully understand the scope and legacy of slavery in the United States, we must acknowledge the ways in which it intersected with the colonization and dispossession of Native Americans. The arrival of Europeans in the Americas had a devastating impact on indigenous populations. European diseases, warfare, and forced removal from their ancestral lands decimated native communities. As European colonists began to establish plantations and exploit the land for resources, they turned to both African and indigenous peoples for labor. In some cases, Native Americans were enslaved alongside Africans, subjected to the same brutal conditions and dehumanizing treatment. In other instances, European colonists exploited existing power structures within indigenous societies, pitting tribes against each other and inciting conflict to acquire slaves through warfare. The enslavement of Native Americans played a significant role in the development of the transatlantic slave trade and the growth of the colonial economy. It also contributed to the further displacement and dispossession of indigenous peoples. To tell the story of American slavery without acknowledging its impact on indigenous peoples is to tell an incomplete and inaccurate history. Outro continuing the conversation, unveiling the past, shaping the future. As we conclude our exploration of these 10 common misconceptions surrounding American slavery, it is my sincere hope that you leave with a deeper understanding of this complex and challenging period in history. The legacy of slavery continues to shape our world today, and it is only through honest reflection and open dialogue that we can hope to address its enduring consequences. If you found this exploration of American slavery enlightening, I encourage you to subscribe to our channel for more thought-provoking documentaries and top 10 videos on a wide range of historical and contemporary issues. Your curiosity and engagement are vital to our mission of fostering knowledge and understanding. We also value your input and encourage you to leave a comment below sharing your thoughts on this video and suggesting other topics you would like us to explore in future episodes. Together, let us continue to delve into the past, illuminate the present, and shape a future where the mistakes of history are not repeated.